This is Annette with Annette's Astrology Corner, and this is your energetic reading for November 3rd. That is Tuesday. And today we have some pretty cool energy to talk about. Now, we have pretty lovely energy for the most part, but we do have a couple quincunxes that are going to play in today that I think are really valid to talk about because one of the quincunxes, you are going to see that energy source for quite some time. And that energy source is going to be Jupiter in Virgo, is going to be quincunxing Uranus in Aries moving forward. So today the sun is going, in Scorpio, is going to be squaring off with the moon. And when this happens, I think what it's going to do is it's going to bring up some very important questions that I think we need to be asking ourselves. So as we dive deep within and all of this Scorpio energy, what it does is it pulls out our need to explore the depths of who we are and our burning desires and what we authentically want, and kind of what our purpose is, and it's also where we manifest, our core is where we actually transform throughout life, and it's really being emphasized this week. And what's going to be challenging that is going to be the moon in Leo. So this is your heart's desire. It's going to be squaring off with your core, where you're going. So if you're not in alignment with where you're going, meaning you're allowing, you're not tuning in to the path and the destiny that you were designed to fulfill, then you're going to be asked a question about emotional fulfillment at this time. And one of the primary things that is going to be really diving deep in today's reading is going to be the moon, which again I said was squaring off with the sun in Scorpio. It is conjunct Mercury in Scorpio, but it is going to be quincunxing Chiron in Pisces. So this is about, I think, taking a look at something that really is something that lies from deep within. And I want to say that this is okay, so I think you may have idealized something from your past. And I think that you may have or in your past you idealized something and it turned out to be very disappointing. And I think today you are going to be pulled backward a little bit, and you're going to be looking back on and aligning with what you used to originally desire. And that's really good, because I think we got away from all of that because we were so caught up in surviving energy and in that energy controlling us. It was like we were always in survival mode not that long ago, and we've been in that energy source for a really long time. There comes a time, and yes, usually that's when Mercury is in retrograde. This is a different kind of pondering. This is about looking at what you deeply desire and what you used to ideally want. And so when Chiron in Pisces is in quincunx and it's in retrograde, this is about looking at what we idealize and pulling it forward in our thought process and taking a look at where we are. Were those hopes, dreams, and wishes something that we could have ever manifested? And if we couldn't have manifested, what do we deeply desire at this present moment? And these are all really big questions, but also this is coming from deep within. This is coming from a need to figure all this stuff out. As we enter November, November to me is a huge transformative month in new beginnings. It's not transformation in spite of loss. It's transformation moving forward energy. And so it's almost like instead of it being a death type energy, meaning you have to lose something to transform it, it's a rebirth, a regeneration of sometimes old thought processes, old dreams, wants, hopes, desires that we've lost track of as we were being pushed to discover our egos and define our egos and to develop our egos. Now I think as we have a new humble approach to what we're secretly desiring, I think we now have a better grasp on what we used to idealize and it never was and could have ever manifested, and what we now idealize and what we can actually truly manifest. So I think this week is going to be about that. About taking a look at our lives and getting back into the idealistic picture now. And I want to believe that this has something to do with the fact that in November, Neptune is going to go direct again. And when Neptune goes direct, we get to get lost in rose-colored glasses again, and we get to idealize and fantasize, and we get to envision wonderful outcomes. So I think when it went in retrograde, it was making us much more realistic, and it was tearing down some of the areas that we tend to create illusions and delusions. And now that we've tore all of those down, and we had all this ego-based energy where we lost a lot of our old ego that we used to define, and it wasn't even a correct definition. It would have never manifested to a happy ending. I think all of these new beginnings that we're starting to move forward with are actually something that could generate results. And so, but we need to get back into the idealistic view of life. Life isn't pain, life isn't loss, life isn't hurtful situations or karmic relationships. It's about soulmates and connections and rebirth and regeneration. And so I think that that's what we're moving forward in. And I feel very happy to say that. So in order for all of that stuff to happen, we've got to take a look at some very, very intense areas in our life. We've got to take a look at our heart and our soul, right? We got to look at what pleases us. Not pleases us, poor coping methods, self-destructive old patterns, right? That there was a sense of misdirected pleasure from poor coping methods that we're now moving away from after all this Virgo energy. This is about trying to find ways to seek pleasure in healthy habits, healthy rituals, healthy work routines. It's about freeing up some of your time. It's about balancing out everything. It's about redefining a lot of areas, but it's about putting passion into generating all of that. We have to have enough momentum and passion and desire and emotional stimulation to be able to want to do anything, right? And so I think that that's what we're starting to feel. Today is very much I find it, well, I found yesterday to be, it's like we lit the match, and today we put it on the ignition switch, right? Or we put it on the ignition, whatever that string is called. I'm so smart, aren't I? Anyhow, and you're lighting it. And I think moving forward in November is going to be a journey. A journey, I think, unlike anything we've had in a really long time. And Chiron is going to start to open us up to these areas in our lives. So Jupiter in Virgo is going to be quincunxing Uranus and Aries. So if we have any old issues that if we are still holding on to old ego and we are not letting go of some of the things that we have been asked and challenged to let go of, I think you're going to experience a quincunx in Chiron and this quincunx in Uranus and Aries that I see in here, and it's not going to. And the cool thing about even our quincunxes that I see is our quincunxes are followed by powerful energy and sextiles. So yes, we have a quincunx in Uranus and Aries and Jupiter and Virgo for some of those that are still holding on to self-sabotaging behaviors and poor coping methods and addiction and unhealthy rituals. I mean, yes, but then there comes this need, this internal, like this beautiful sextile in the Sun in Scorpio and Jupiter and Virgo that really, it's like there's clarity where there never used to be. You were always in a constant state of dysfunction as was ideal to you. Now you know that's not ideal, and now you know that you want more. You want more. You desire more. You need more. You want to be fed more. And we're not talking about stuff that's going to take away personal power. We're talking about stuff that is moving forward. And I mean, we're so beautiful right now. Everything is just changing, and it's all for the best. I'm so excited for today. So excited for November. I can't wait to talk about tomorrow.